만능이라는 사인 환자가 힘든 거예요. 방기자식이 멈추인 주지하고 마저 안주. 우리주방자는 남미니 안주자다주 아우유 방자자이주. 방기자식이 멈추인 주지하고 마저 안주행. 진실주의자인.
What's good, Kel? Congratulations on landing your new night job here at Freddy Fazbear's Satellite Array, trademark pending. We were very impressed with your previous work, even if half the paper was redacted. I guess MK really was that ultra. Now, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, this work will be simple. Just scan for deep space signals, keep the servers running, and don't break the microwave. Easy! Oh, and be wary of the neighbors. Got all that? Good, I'm taking off for lunch. Bye! Hey there, Dr. Kel. Sorry about that
absolutely terrible briefing.
I swear, I'm gonna stuff that prick's balls in a vacuum tube. Anyway, looks like there were a few holes in your training. Let's just start from the top then, yeah? Voices of the Void. What is it? Why should I play it? Is it into me, or is my autism hallucinating social cues again? All will be answered in time, but here are the basics. Vodva is a horror immersive sim about the daily struggles of a Swedish telecom worker. It has everything you'd expect. Wake up at 2 p.m. Eat a traditional breakfast. MREs and beer, delicious. Go downstairs and check on the wife. Clock in and lock in. On those signals. Bow once too by day's end, and by God, he's gonna get them. Do your job, and clean your nasty-ass base while you're at it. Get paid for both. Buy upgrades and customize your base. Rinse, repeat, roll credits. All in all, this sounds pretty straightforward. Smooth. Effortless even. And it is. The moment-to-moment of voices isn't hard, unless you're on the ATV, which handles like the suspension is carved from granite. Side note, does anyone know how to turn off mods? Because my biggest enemy is now tripping over a rock and making a new Chicxulub crater. Back on track. Instead, the tests are just complex enough to need your attention. Grabbing a signal? You need to be watching the tuning bars. Getting hash codes? You need to write them out on in-game paper. Fixing a server? Basic math, the bane of all master's students. Little jobs that aren't mindless enough to be grading, but take your focus away so the game's real content can sneak up on you. Events. There's a ton of them, and they get creative. Earth-shaking roars. Small oddities. FedEx shipping.
Toyota.
Some are specific to the story mode, which you should play by the way. It's the only way to meet one of the alien races. Correction, it's the only way to meet any of the alien races. But, I mean come on, they're just world events. Are they really that important? Yes they are. Events and the gameplay are intrinsically tied, like yin and yang, life and death, car keys, and Corona Light. One cannot be whole without the other. Think about it, what would the gameplay look like without these little happenings? I'll tell ya, it'd be life as a North Dakotan telecom worker. And while North Dakota is many things, exciting isn't one of them. In the reverse scenario, you'd have nothing but 24/7 tension. No outlet or release to give the scares proper breathing room. Oh, and there's the perfect example. Day 8 heralds the arrival of a new force in the Swedish woods. If you've been paying attention, there have been signs of this leading up. Something scurrying through the vents. A strange object picked up on signal. And on the 8th midnight, something knocks out Romeo and Sierra. Naturally, you go check it out and see a picnic. An alien picnic. Congratulations, Kel. You've just made first contact. Now, what do? Inside you, there are two wolves. One is a dedicated scientist wishing to learn more about our intergalactic visitors. The other plays Warhammer 40k. Sure, you could tell them to piss off in a decidedly human fashion, but why? These are beings who have crossed the Great Void, are incredibly technologically advanced, and haven't even done anything yet. To resort to barbarism immediately would be to admit that we are no better than our ape ancestors, unable to handle even the idea of an equal intelligence without violence. So, what's the other option? Building bridges? We don't even know how to communicate with them. But we do, don't we? Consider this universal language of peace, one that has built entire empires in the past. one that is understood by nearly every branch of the animal kingdom. Symbiosis, cultural melding, jazz music, all designs from this progress factory. Because much like how tarantulas and humming frogs have nature's strangest babysitting contract, we can create a relationship via trade. Back to the picnic. What do you need for a picnic, aside from a functional social life? Correct, food. Much like a slug round, the culinary arts are an extremely quick way to a creature's heart. That's why we save money until day 7, buy our body weighing cookies, and introduce the aliens to the earthling concept of type 2 diabetes. Now, we have established ourselves as friendly, since, surprise surprise, there are actual faction reputation mechanics. Now, you might have noticed something about the game's tone per se. For a game trying to be scary, it's kinda hilarious. And that's why I consider it a horror game. Because in terms of atmosphere, I have never played a more oppressively creepy game than Voices. Nights are black. If you don't have your torch on, you cannot see anything. And stumbling through the dark in a European forest isn't exactly appealing. So naturally, you hole up in your base. Except, the lights don't reach everywhere. No matter what room you illuminate, there are always shadows in the corners. Little pockets of black made by the volumetric light system. And you know it's an illusion, that nothing could possibly hide in those tiny shadows. Yet, the effect remains. Even in a bright room, you get the sense that safety is fleeting. Then the sun rises, day breaks, and you sigh in relief. Finally, a true release. Or maybe that's an illusion too. That's not even the worst of it. The visual elements might be nerve-wracking, but the sound design? Harsh feels like an understatement. No sound you or your base make is gradual. They all hit your ears like a slap and leave just as quickly. Doors screech with hydraulic pressure as they open and close. Items meet the metal flooring with a resounding clang. Server rooms assault your senses with an electronic symphony, often sounding too close to something else for comfort. Even in your fortress, you're on a knife's edge. When I can get startled by the sound of my automated bulkhead closing behind me, that's when I know I'm playing something special. And then I press the C key. Every single terrifying aspect listed before is counterbalanced by the dumb bullshit you can get up to. Microwave your plushie. Really microwave it. Give it to one of your wooden friends. I'm sure they'll love it. Sell your garbage to the company by buying garbage rolls. Order 50 individual bags instead, because while a 12-pack costs 16 points, individual bags only cost 1. That's 33% more profit per bag. Buy a TV, which lets you watch whatever custom content is in the assets folder. Get a taste for bananas. Get a visitor. Turn your base into a Home Alone nightmare. Toast your lungs with a pack of Winstons. There's a lot you can do. And while drawing anime on a paper scrap is fun in its own right, the most interesting thing about Vodva is how it treats these toys. For a fair few of them, you aren't given them outright. You either buy them from the shop or find them in the world. The extremely creepy, tension-building world. You see what I'm getting at? To ultimately shitpost inside of Voices, you have to face the risk of being scared. Funny is a reward for braving the tension. Genius. Absolute cinema. Critique. While I find Voices to be an impressive technical package for an alpha release, there are still problems to be addressed. First, look, I get it. It's a slow burn, bone-chilling, psychological horror about depression. It starts slow and ramps up. That's the point. But does it have to start at continental drift pacing? For the first week in story mode, damn near close to nothing happened. Admittedly, a mannequin moved places. Once. And the sun doom posted my forest, but that was like, what, 2 randoms in 7 hours? The pacing feels a bit off, especially because on day 8, I ran into 2 randoms on top of the story event. They could be a bit more evenly spread, is what I'm saying. Second, the UI. You may have noticed that my interface looks a bit different. That's because I installed a mod, since the vanilla offering kinda sucks.
What the hell is this?
Alright, this is it, Miku. One question stands between you and $1 million. Here it is. Which icon stands for your health in Voices of the Void? F? S? F1? Or none of the above? That's right, none of them! Congratulations, you win! What a terrible... Consider the act of targeting a server. It can be really helpful for hashcode gathering. With this UI mod, makes a basic arrow simple. Clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight without the mod. Hope you aren't colorblind. It could use a bit of work, so for the time being, I put a link to the mod I use in the description. Highly recommend using it if you plan on playing. Third, and this one's a small suggestion, add in more daily task variants. The two on offer do serve their purpose, but when I could complete my work within 5 in-game hours, then there's not much left for me to do that day. If you feel the same, there is a mod that adds in a small photography side task. Let's wrap this up in a neat little bow. Voices of the Void is an incredibly unique experience with a ton of heart. The more you play, the more you ask yourself little questions. Where is the Maxwell? What the fuck is that? What do the invisible aliens look like? Why are they anthropomorphic cat people? Sorry, give me a sec. Okay, so it's not confirmed, but given that Kerfura Mogia also looks like that, it seems safe to assume. And you know what that means, right? This game is gonna be perfect! Consider the following. Open world, survival, crafting. The marks of the early access devil. We all know it, we've all seen it, we've all gotten scammed by that. Well, solo dev, retro graphics, and
Probably.
furry? That's the holy trinity right there, brother. Praise be, amen. I highly recommend giving it a try. It's on itch.io and totally free to try. Because we support indie devs in this house, correct? Anyway, thanks for sticking around, fellas. Next one's gonna be something I'm an actual veteran of. Catch you later. Peace!